Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem video. This is a postmortem of my Blitz chess game number 103, where I was black, my opponent played d4, and I played knight f6, hoping to get into something like a Nimzo Indian, and my opponent plays h3, which you can see is an extremely rare move. And there's actually no moves in the opening book after this, so not much of interest there. So let's just look at it. I looked at this with the chess engine, and I'm leaving it off because there were a couple tactical shots I missed, and I don't want the engine giving it away, so I can give you a few quiz opportunities here. So let's just play through the game. d4. Now this h3 move is just too slow, and the computer thinks that black is already equalized, and after a few moves, starting around here, black has an advantage. So maybe right even before that exchange, black already had an advantage. And black keeps his advantage through 95% of the game. So all through this, I'm playing reasonable moves. So is my opponent. But he's just got a weak position here from a bad opening choice. My advantage is slowly growing. So and then just gradually accumulating advantages. I pick up a pawn here. I get a rook on a good square. It's a little better, a little more precise, according to the chess engine, to exchange rooks and then play queen b6. So I did this in the wrong order. But if I exchange rooks, you'll probably take back with the queen, and then queen b6 attacks the d4 pawn and puts pressure on b2. So just a better way to play. By defending the rook here, now I have to choose between taking the rook and allowing this exchange of queens, which I didn't really want at this point, or taking with a pawn, which creates a symmetric pawn structure and actually reduces my chances. This pawn structure here is more favorable to me the way it is, with this strong pawn chain and his backwards b pawn. So I really should trade first and maintain that backwards b pawn. Now, when I allow him to trade and I take back with a pawn, I have no easy way to attack that backwards pawn anymore. So that's why this improved white's position. But black is still better. He's a pawn up and he's got good pieces. So notice that black has a bad bishop and his knight doesn't have a lot of scope. So I gradually move my pieces forward. I was trying to, when I moved the bishop here to b5, I was threatening knight to g3 to e2, which would have been a good trick, but he plays queen f3 right away to stop that. So a bit of maneuvering, and then I grab the c file and invade with my queen. And now I really should be winning, and the winning shot here, I missed. I was too eager to just grab a pawn, and that's not good. So anyway, take a second, see if you can find the winning shot here. It's a pretty simple one. So that's your clue. Pause the video if you want to think about this some. I'm going to give the answer away. Pretty simple answer here. It is queen here. And that's a check. And it simultaneously attacks the knight. And there's no way that he can move the knight and stop the check. He's got to either move the king or the queen, and I can just pick up a whole knight. So that would be winning. Instead I grabbed the pawn, and it turns out I don't even get the pawn. I didn't think ahead very far, but he trades and then attacks that pawn, and I can't defend it. He's attacking two pawns, and I have to choose to defend one of them. So after all of that, I had a winning advantage, and now it's only a slight advantage again. I mean, I'm still a pawn up, but that's not really a winning advantage at this point. The computer rates it as about 4/10 of a pawn or something like that, which is usually not a winning advantage. But I keep pressing forward, and I build up, moving my pawns forward, and I get into a good position once again through some maneuvers where I do some time-wasting moves so that I can get my bishop to this square here, bishop to e4 check, and then this move here, f3, was a mistake. So let's back up. Yeah, I was so anxious to play this move, bishop e4 check, that I overlooked a better move here. So here's your tactical quiz number 2. And this is kind of interesting, and it's sort of a typical in-game kind of tactic when you still have some minor pieces on the board. So it's black's turn to move. What's black's best move here? Okay, pause the video if you want time to think about it. I'm going to give the answer away. The answer is bishop to d1 check. Notice this attacks the pawn on the other side of the king, and notice this pawn is controlling these squares. This pawn is controlling that square. So the king is forced away. He's got to go to either here or here. There's no other squares available to him. So it's a combination of the bishop and the pawns being on opposite colors. These two pawns are covering the dark squares, the bishop is covering the light squares, and the king can't stay in touch with this pawn. Also, this shows the the strength of the bishop. The bishop can be keeping an eye on a pawn over here and also attacking a pawn on the other side of the board, which is why it's often a stronger piece in the endgame than the knight. So this would win a pawn and go on to win the game. So that was my second winning opportunity, and pretty simple one. Once again, I was following up with some preconceived plan and not playing the best move in the position. So now it's about even, and particularly this move f3 was bad. I should probably, even if I'm not playing bishop d1 check, I should probably leave this position as is and not push that pawn until it has a chance of making progress. As it is, when I push it ahead, it just gets blockaded there. And eventually he gets his knight around to where it attacks the bishop. And I realized, notice how the white pawns cover all of these squares. So my king can't get through. And so I can't really make any progress. And we get to this position here where he wins a pawn, and I take the knight. And this is now losing for me. So back up. When he plays the move, knight to g1, attacking this pawn, the best move for black here, so again, this is a point where you can pause the video and think about it if you want to. It's not a simple tactic. This is more like, what's the best move under the circumstances kind of question. Since I can't bring my king up to defend this pawn, basically I'm losing this pawn anyway. So what should I do, given that I'm losing that pawn? Okay, if you haven't figured it out, pause the video, and you want to think about it, pause the video. I'm going to give the answer away. The recommendation is bishop to g6. And so he'll go ahead and grab the pawn, and then you play the bishop to e8, attacking this pawn on the other side of the board and picking up a pawn over here. So that's what it turns into. You're going to grab the pawns on the light squares. You can also put pressure on this pawn later, maybe, and try to use that to counterbalance the knight. And it's not a winning advantage anymore, but it should be an even game. And there's at least no way white has an advantage in this position. But after I play king e6, he takes the pawn, and I trade out. Now this is actually winning. I should have, even if I retreated the bishop there, white is already better. So this is the first point in the game, starting here with this move, where white is actually better after king e6. So every move up to this point, black has been better from the opening up to move 54, and now suddenly white is better. And one more bad move, which is to trade. I forgot about this pawn over here. Just didn't think about it. I thought, well, I can't break through and he can't break through. We're all covering these squares, so there's no progress. See how my pawns are covering all these squares, so the white king can't break through. But what he can do is just come over and munch this pawn, and I can't stop it. And I can't break through as before. All of white's pawns are covering my access points. So we play on, but this is just a win for white. And as long as he doesn't misplay it, it's a pretty easy win. So I resign here. And, well, it was a terrible game. But maybe you learned a few things from it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave any comments you have in the section below. And I will see you later. Bye.